darlings, and welcome back to Pass or Smash, new makeup edition. So, here in Pass or Smash, we talk about new makeup releases, primarily indie brand launches, and we decide if we want to pass, as in buy bitch, or smash, add to cart. So, lots of new makeup this week. We went from being absolutely quiet in that front to being very busy. So let's talk about what I have found on the internet. So, Lethal Cosmetics has now released they've now released this collection, and that is the SpongeBob collection here. Now, this is in collaboration with the SpongeBob movie. There is a big collection, so let's go through every item, okay? So there's a 15 pan palette here. Really pretty color story, in line with the movie for the most part. The only criticism I have looking at this color story is there's no Patrick pink, which I think is kind of weird. There is a pink, but it's not like Patrick pink. It's Gary, but I don't know. It's just a little critique. If he's going to be such a sidekick in a big part of the movie, then, you know, I feel like he should be in there, right? SpongeBob's best guy, so that's there. Now, that palette retails for $58 or 15 pans. I think it's a fun little color story. Okay. There is the Treasure Map makeup brush set here. This retails for $53. It looks like it's a mixture of face and eye brushes. So there's a whole collection there. And I appreciate that it rolls up. Like it's a brush roll. All right. There is the SpongeBob Skull and Bones makeup bag. And it's glow in the dark. I think that's really fun. The glow in the dark part is a nice option, you know. So, and that is $23. So, there is the 16 hours later setting spray for here. That is $20. $20 felt like a lot of money for that. I guess it's not in the grand scheme of things, but it seems like a lot of money to me. I don't know. Tell me if you would spend $20 on this setting spray, okay? There is the Gary Jelly Blush Stick. That's $16. There's the Mr. Krabs Blush Stick. That is also $16. And there is the Squidward Jelly Highlighter. These are all that jelly formula that you swipe on with the stick and you tap in. And the Squidward looks like it might have like a green kind of a shift to it, like that Squidward blue-green. So that's there. Now, there are two lip glosses. There's the Patrick Star, because that is his name, not the celebrity makeup artist. Patrick Star lip gloss, and the SpongeBob yellow lip gloss, which is a gold kind of tint. I think the gold one's really interesting. Both of those are $17 a piece. A lot to spend on a lip gloss, if I'm being honest. It's a lot for lip gloss. There are 3 nail polish colors. Most of these are $18 each. I think one of them is $17. But there's a glow in the dark one of those as well, which I actually think is really fun and would be really fun for like Halloween or details. If you're like a spooky bitch all year like me, then you just like it in general, but that is there. And last but not least, there are the Mr. Krabs Wallet Blotting papers. Those are here. That's a really interesting mix to the collection. I would not have thought to create that for a SpongeBob collection, but I do think it's really interesting, and it's a fun way to incorporate like Mr. Krabs' love of money. So loving that here. Now, there are multiple bundles available. I know if you buy the nail polishes, there's a bundle for that. The cheek products, there's a bundle for that. The whole collection bundle is $266 for everything. On the whole, I would say I'm interested in the nail polish and the eyeshadows, in the yellow lip gloss. I don't want the whole collection, but overall, I'm going to say this is probably a smash. I think the branding is really cute. The approach is really cute. Do I have a critique on the theming a little bit, like with the palette? Sure, but it's just my preferences as somebody who watched a lot of SpongeBob with my little sisters. So we're going to say smash. Lethal does a really good job with their collaborations, particularly their movie. I feel like if you remember Avatar: The Last Airbender, all of those palettes, that collection was fire. And then I just feel like they do a really good job. So we're going to say smash. Okay. Next, Nomad Cosmetics has released their Paris La Bohéme. I'm so sorry, I can't say that appropriately. I want to say Bohéme, and I know that's not right, but it's La Bohéme. It says it's inspired by the eccentric hues of the Paris Latin Quarter. Here, both past and present. Now, I don't know if some people realize this. If you don't like opera, you may not realize this, But this palette shares the name and theming with Puccini's 1898 opera La Boheme of the same name. And it follows two lovers in Paris, like two bohemian lovers in Paris, right? It's a beautiful opera. If you've never seen it, it's worth listening to. Just you would recognize certain arias from it. They're timeless. So anyway, I like opera, in case you didn't know. All right, and anyway, there's pinks and there's greens. There's that pop of that dark blue. The pukish green has me. I love that color. It took me a second for my brain to recognize the word I was looking for, but I love that kind of a color. Oh, what did I do here? Oh, hold please. Anyway, I think the color story is really interesting. I don't know if I love the tones of the pinks with the grunginess of the greens. I almost feel like you almost need a little bit cooler of a pink, but maybe that's just my preferences. But I do think it's really pretty. I would say smash. I was surprised by the theming because we've always done with Nomad like regional or city. They've done a French palette in the past. They did Provence. This has a very different vibe to it. And when they said Paris was a destination, this is not where my brain went. Like, this was not where my brain went. And I'm like, huh. It is an interesting take on that. But I almost would have included kind of like a mustardy yellow or like a golden yellow, just in my understanding of everything. But I do think it's really pretty. I would say smash. This does retail for $59. There are 10 mattes, 6 shimmers, and there are 2 multi-chromes in this palette, okay? But I would say smash. Like I said, I might have swapped one of those pinks for like a mustardy yellow. I think that would have been a really nice complement to the colors that are here, including the blues. But I would say smash. Yeah. They also did that whole duality thing with this launch where they have like, you know, the beginning of the palette. It's trying to tell a story. So like the pink is like, you know, the fresh young lovers and everything's great. And then it moves into like the darker sides of life on that other side with the darks and the greens and the grunginess and the grittiness. And I understand the story they were trying to tell. Okay. So Bella Beauté Bar has teamed up again with Deandra Nicole here. Now, this is the Pinky Promise palette. I love an alliteration, but I find that one hard to say. So Pinky Promise, this is a 15-pan magnetic palette. There are 8 mattes and 6 multi-chromes and 1 hollow chrome. So there's 15 pans total. Maybe I'm just overwhelmed with the pink launches lately. There's a lot of pink launches happening. I think that the shimmers that they collaborated on in this palette are absolutely stunning. But the mattes, I could take or leave. There's a lot of similarities in here. I don't feel like there's enough contrast for my preferences. But this palette is not necessarily for me. So if you need a pink palette, this might be the one for you. But for me, I'm going to say pass, although the shimmers are really pretty. If I wanted this palette, it would not be for the mattes. It would actually be for the shimmers because the tones that they picked for them are just beautiful, and I think they would translate well to a lot of color stories. But for me, I'm going to say pass. This palette does launch on January 16th at 10 a.m., so it should be available now, and it is $72. I think you can use Deandra's code with this. So if you use a code, make sure that you use the creator's code. That way they get all the kickbacks. You know, it's their baby. So, and that is there. But for me, this is going to be a pass, but I think the shimmers are really pretty. But the mattes for me, it's like, there's not quite enough variety for what my preferences are. Okay. Gourmand Girls is teasing a new palette. This is the artwork for the Bleeding Hearts palette. It looks like it's going to follow their standard 14-pan format. That does kind of seem to be like the niche that they found size-wise for their palettes. So that is going to be here. It looks like these are screenshots of the colors that they've sneak peeked so far, but it looks like it's also going to be another pink palette, and that's going to be here. These are the shades that I just screenshotted and put together, but at time of filming they have not shown what the color story is yet. So these are just stolen from their sneak peeks. So that is going to be here. We'll see. I don't know, that pop of like that bright corally orange shimmer, I can't wait to see that one swatched. But I don't know. The rest we'll just have to wait and see. Okay. Lady Blood Glow is just teasing that there's some newness coming to keep an eye out. They keep putting it up in that. Okay, I don't know what it's called. But you know, like when you're in your message screen in the very top, you can see the people that you follow and they can put a message. They keep doing that. So whatever that banner is, they keep doing like newness coming soon. So it'll be up there. Okay. Last but not least, Marlene Estelle's new makeup company. I guess it's new. They did fragrances first and now they're starting to move into makeup. They have 3 palette pre-sales that are listed up on their website. I don't particularly like Marlene Estelle. I kind of find her content hard to digest, mainly because it's, honestly, it feels a little condescending. And I know she's an OG creator, and if you love her, I love her for you. But I used to really like her content, and now I kind of feel differently. But she has 3 new palette launches that are giving us a whole lot of nothing. So I'm going to show them to you and give you some information, but it's just going to be kind of a brief once over. So these are from the House of Mars. I think it's Marseille. And if I'm mispronouncing that, I'm sorry. But House of Marseille. Now there are 3 palettes. They're 8 pans each, and they're in like a zip up, like I think it's faux leather, little zip up case, which would be good for a makeup artist. But these are the Le Mirage. It's $72. $72 for 8 pans. There are 4 mattes and 4 very dull looking shimmers. To me, honestly, this is giving outdated luxury makeup vibes to me. So if you love it, you get on with your bad self. But to me, this is giving outdated luxury makeup vibes. So that is the Le Mirage. The pop of green is pretty, but they don't, these pictures, I hope, don't do the palette justice. Okay. There's the L apostrophe Essence, $68, warm browns, basically, and that terracotta matte's pretty, but I feel like that's a pretty common color. And then there's the Minimaliste there, and that just has that pop of pink in it, and it's got kind of neutrals. They're not really cool toned. I would say they're like neutrals, if that makes sense. At least to my eye, and that is there. And that one is $68 as well. I just feel like there are better options out there for you if you're looking for something like these. So just a thought. But anyway, darlings, that's it for Pass or Smash. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you being here. And if you made it this far, please leave me your favorite fruit emojis. Let's just go that route in the comments below. I will catch you on the next one. Love your faces. Thanks for being here. Bye. Oh, if you're curious about what's on my eyes, it's the Day Day signature, sorry. Their Fearless Holiday palette. It's my panning project for this year, and this orange is giving me life today. It's giving me life. It's a perfect blustery, wintry day here. Right now we actually have like weather, so it's exciting. All right, I love your faces. I will catch you on the next one. Bye.